today's video is going to be a fun one. It's not every day I get to film really cool builds, and this one right here, it's pretty cool. This right here is PSI's G80 M3. It's pretty decked out from top to bottom and aftermarket modification parts, including some that are very exclusive and cannot be found anywhere else, and only this car has them. I'm gonna go ahead and take this car for a drive, take it to one of my favorite spots, and then I'll get into detail and show you guys everything that this car has. Regardless of all the negative attention this car gets as far as like the exterior design from BMW, if you ever hop in one of these and drive it, you'll fall in love. Just the driving experience alone makes it worth it. It's so easy to drive, so smooth, even with all the modifications that it has, like the wheels and the suspension. It is so easy to drive. It's almost impossible to stall when you're taking off. It rev matches for you when you're on like comfort mode and efficient. Everything about it is so easy and so smooth, but at the same time it's a performer. It's just comfortable, you know, pushing this car. You kind of feel like you're in control. I'm not looking to beat on this car today. First of all, it's raining, unfortunately, and it's not my car, so I don't want to take a chance with that, but I'll give you guys enough content about this car that I think you guys end up liking it by the end of this video. And we are here. One thing I did want to mention before I get out of the car is that these M carbon seats are super aggressive. These bolsters really hold you in place. By the way, the owner, Sean, does have these towels here to preserve these seats. The bolsters come up so high that when you exit and enter the car, you essentially destroy them as you rub up against it, you know, every day. But anyways, these are super aggressive, but your body doesn't feel fatigued, so they're actually very comfortable. I took a 30-minute drive here and I felt great. So I came out here to get a little bit of privacy so I can talk to you guys on camera. But check this out. These guys here have front row seating to see me review the G80 M3. Welcome to Florida. Hello there. Hi. How you doing? Have a good day. Unfortunately, today I will get rained on for the sake of content. It's the only day I can do this for you. So let's get to it. Earlier this year, I made a video on this very G80 M3. The guys at PSI had taken delivery of it. It was a very controversial car at the time. The video that I made mainly pertained to the front end of the car, BMW's controversial kidney grille design. Back then, I took a pretty wild guess that after a few months, people will start to get used to the front end of the car and start to appreciate the G80 M3. Also the G82 M4 that has the same front. I was never a massive fan of the kidney grills. I just like the fact that BMW decided to try something different, like something outside of the box, not the safe route that most automotive, you know, manufacturers tend to take nowadays. So I think that's the part that I liked about it. The overall design of the front end, wishy-washy, man. In person, it definitely looks a lot better than video and picture. In video and picture, it's very easy to distort what it actually looks like in person. So you got to get the right angles to truly appreciate it. Like maybe like right there. Anyways, let me go ahead and give you guys a tour of the outside of the car and show you guys all the modifications. The purpose of this build was to showcase how good you can make the G80 M3. The guys at PSI partnered up with a few companies that we'll go over today so they can showcase this car at SEMA, which they did at the Moton and AST booth, which I briefly showed in my previous video when I was at SEMA, Las Vegas. Let's go ahead and start off with the front end of the car, get that out of the way since that's what most people like to comment about. Starting with the front bumper here, the guys at Guardian Wraps did wrap the lower portion of the front bumper in this gloss black. The idea behind this, I think, was to resemble the M Performance M3 that BMW showcased earlier this year, you know, the red and black one. Essentially, it takes away main focus from the center and it distributes it around the front end of the car. It kind of flows in a lot better. Bottom portion right here, where the lip attaches to, was wrapped in this kind of like the silver bluish color, which looks pretty cool in person. It's almost like a Silverstone, but a little bit more dramatic. This carbon fiber lip is pretty special. According to Sean, this is the only one in the world right now for the M3 and M4s. It's from a company called Vorsteiner. The fitment is absolutely spot on. It looks like something that just came from BMW Performance. There's no gaps. The finish is immaculate, and it sits pretty aggressive on the front bumper. Like, just look at it. It sits really low, which is kind of scary because I'm sure once they start releasing and selling these, they're going to be pretty expensive. But I mean, if you're looking for like the best possible look, it really does look good. You have a small branding from Vorsteiner there, and you have one right here in the front. Here's a nice touch to the front end of the car, the rondelle. Can you guys tell the difference between this one and a factory one? Essentially, the only thing that's been done is the outside, the chrome layer of the rondelle has been painted black, and that was done by a company called IND. So other than the rondelle, the front lip, and the vinyl wrap, it's pretty stock up front. Let's move on to the side of the car, which there's plenty to talk about. We'll start with the suspension. It's rocking Moton one-way adjustable coilovers. They haven't really dialed in the height of the car yet, just because the rear ended up settling in after the install. If you guys remember watching the video either on their channel or my channel, you would have seen that the rear was absolutely slammed. I mean, it kind of is right now, but we are sitting on a incline, so they still have to perfect it. I think they're going to do that sometime this week. These wheels got a lot of attention at SE in mind. It's probably because they're pretty exclusive and the only set available in the world, and they're sitting on this car right now. These are Rarest GT 090s, 20x10 up front and 20x11 in the rear. They're wrapped in Michelin Pilot Sport Cup 2s and 285/30 up front and 305/30 in the rear, which is very aggressive. Let's see if we can get a bit of a rear view. I mean, they're wide, that's for sure. Other modifications on the side include M Performance side skirt, M Performance side grille. You have the mirror caps, which I think came from factory, but they're also M Performance. And this right here, which has been a controversial point for a lot of people. Not entirely sure how to pronounce it, but I think it's Fuel, and it's from a company in Sweden. This is an M Vector roof box that's been paint matched to, you know, match the rest of the car, Ollie Man green. I think they did a pretty good job. As far as my opinion on how the roof box looks like on the G80, I mean, it's a 50-50 split. I think it looks unique. I don't hate it. I don't love it. It just looks different, and I think in pictures, it just stands out and it gets attention. Moving on to the back of the M3, there's definitely a lot going on here. We'll take it step by step. We have this carbon fiber trunk spoiler from Vorsteiner. Just like the front lip, it's the only one that exists in the world. It's on this car. It's a very interesting design. It's different. It's different from anything that you see on like previous M3 and M4 models. It's a truly unique design. Fitment looks really good. Check out the design. You can really see it from like a higher angle. Let me go ahead and position the camera this way. It's different for sure. Not sure exactly how I feel about it, but it's definitely different. It stands out, and the fitment is pretty spot on. It kind of finishes the rear of the car. Just like the front bumper cover, a portion of the rear bumper has been wrapped by garden wraps in this gloss black and this silver with like this blue hue to it. Carbon fiber winglets from M Performance, and this is where it gets pretty interesting. Both the full titanium exhaust, the titanium exhaust tips with carbon fiber sleeves, and the carbon fiber rear diffuser is from a company called Akrapovic or Akrapovic or Akrapovic. I'm not entirely sure how to say that correctly, but you guys get the point. Essentially, this rear diffuser is meant to be used with their exhaust system. By the way, this entire exhaust system looks like a work of art, guys. I'll overlay some video footage so you guys can see what I'm talking about. You combine that with these crazy looking exhaust tips, and not only does the entire system look very good, it looks extremely expensive, and that is because the entire system is extremely expensive. If I remember correctly, the cost of this exhaust system is like upwards of $10,000, $12,000 or $13,000. It's absolutely insane. But does it sound like a $12,000, $13,000 exhaust? Well, I'll let you guys be the judge. Let's go ahead and get you guys some exhaust clips. For context, this M3 has the stock downpipes and the Akrapovic exhaust, nothing else. I'll do an exhaust clip with the valves closed and with the valves open. So that's what the M3 sounds like with this exhaust setup. What do you guys think? Does it sound good? Does it sound bad? Is it too tame? Is it loud enough? Does it sound aggressive? I mean, I haven't really heard what it sounds like from the outside, so you guys can be the judge. Let me know in the comment section below. Not to sound too repetitive, but that exhaust system and the diffuser are the only ones in the world for the M3 and the M4. If you guys want to find out more information about all the mods in the G80 M3, PSI does have a YouTube channel. They're uploading various episodes on the entire build before it arrived to SEMA. They'll go into more detail that I'm going into today. So make sure and check them out. I'll leave a link to their YouTube channel down in the description below. I really like how this car drives. I really do. The looks of the car, the exterior, I mean, I like what the car looks like from the side, the rear. A little bit too close of a resemblance to the G20, but when you add the Akrapovic diffuser and exhaust, it definitely looks a lot more aggressive. The front end is just a toss-up, to be honest. I was completely wrong. People did not get used to that design, and people still hate it. I mean, some people like it, some don't. If it's attention that you're looking for, the car is definitely going to get a lot of attention. By the way, the interior, this calamari orange or whatever they call it, it's beautiful too with the carbon seats. The interior is just gorgeous in this car. BMW did such a phenomenal job. This color is awesome. The ambient lighting, the digital display, the center infotainment system, even whatever design this is, it's like carbon weave. I'm not entirely sure what that is. It's like an aluminum mesh design. I think everything looks good in here. I mean, the only thing I would probably change is, I don't know if they offer full leather for the M3 like they do the 5 Series, where you can get this like soft touch or leather. That's probably the only thing I'll change. But other than that, this car looks awesome inside. The outside is the only controversy, to be honest. It wouldn't make sense if I filmed this car and not drive it and give you guys my impressions, so that's what I'm gonna go ahead and do right now. Like I was mentioning earlier before we got to this spot, it's such an easy car to drive. It's so smooth, even with the suspension upgrades, the Moton one-ways, the Ray wheels, the more aggressive tires. The car drives like a dream. Yes, it's a little bit more aggressive, but as a car enthusiast, you don't really care too much about it. You give up a little bit of comfort for better performance at the end of the day, so that's okay for a car like this. Unfortunately, it doesn't look like I'm going to be able to push the car too much today because it's raining with no signs of stopping. Kind of wanted to see what this car has with all the performance modifications to show you guys what it's capable of. Maybe we'll leave that for another video. You can barely hear the exhaust. With the valves closed, it sounds like a stock system. I guess that's the beauty of the Akrapovic exhaust, is that, you know, you have two options. You can have a very quiet, stock-like ride if you want to, and if you want to open up the valves, then you can party a little bit. I'm going to go ahead and tap the M2 button here. That's going to put the car on Sports Plus mode for all the settings, so you guys can hear the exhaust, the valves open up. Yeah, you guys can hear the exhaust a lot better. I have to be careful because in that mode you have traction control off, and I don't want to wreck this car. It's the last thing I want to do. But you guys can hear it. Sounds pretty good inside for sure. That's as much as I'm going to push it, guys. That's as much as I'm going to push it for today. Sounds good though. It's very deep. And it's not annoying. It's not like anything crazy like raspy or drony or anything like that. It's just like the right amount of sound. I think they did a pretty good job. I'd be super interested to hear what this car sounds like with the same exhaust system, but with aftermarket downpipes instead of the stock ones. I wonder if it would be too overpowering or if it would sound badass. My guess, badass. I find it extremely funny that every car that's driving by has their eyes glued to this car. Like, whether you like the design or not, it gets a lot of attention, that's for sure, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed this video on a pretty exclusive G80 M3. If you did, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe to see more videos like this one in the future. As always, thanks for watching. Till next time.